This new year, Goal 90 drops something special, football-inspired phone cases made for the Goal 90 fam. From club colours to country pride, we've got you covered. And the best part? Customise it with your name and number. Head to the Goal 90 shop and get yours now. It's a new year, guys, but football has not missed a single beat. Now, having crossed over to a new year, it is now time to make some bold and some not so bold predictions. These are 10 things that will surely happen in football in 2026. First of all, we're predicting a huge Ballon d'Or controversy this year. We can't tell you who will win the award or who'll even make the podium, but what we can tell you is that there'll surely be controversy. It always happens when there's a big international tournament. Most times the best player in the club season doesn't win or even do well at the international tournament, so it often leads to controversy. We saw it in 2024 with Vinny and Rodri, in 2023 with Messi and Haaland, in 2021 with Messi, Lewandowski and Jorginho, and of course in 2018 with Modric and Cristiano. Looking at the history, this is not even a very bold prediction, it is almost an expectation at this point. So, no matter how well a player does at the end of the season, don't make the mistake of crowning him Ballon d'Or winner just yet until after the World Cup is over. If the Euros could cause a lot of debate in 2024, imagine how much more can erupt from the World Cup. There's a couple more predictions that have a lot to do with the World Cup. Can you guess what we're talking about here? Take a shot at it in the comments, we'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go do that right away, so you never miss out on our amazing content. Now, another thing sure to happen in football this year is the breaking of a long-standing record in the Premier League. Most appearances in the history of the league. This record was broken in September 2017 when Gareth Barry made his 633rd Premier League appearance. But we're almost certain to see that record shattered by James Milner this year. After his appearance against Burnley at the start of the year, the former Liverpool man now needs to make just 5 more appearances to claim the record, and it's just impossible for him not to do that. In fact, he should have that record just about wrapped up by February. There's another big Premier League record we expect to be broken in 2026. We'll talk about it soon, but before that, let's talk about Arsenal. This is the year where they break their trophy drought. The last time they won a major trophy was in 2020, 6 years ago now. They won the Community Shield in 2023, but that's not widely recognised as a major trophy. Anyway, everything is pointing towards 2026 being the year when they finally put that behind them. Having started the year top of the Premier League and Champions League tables, as well as being in the semi-final of the EFL Cup, it's not a crazy prediction to say that the Gunners will end this year with a trophy or two under their belt. Arsenal play really good football, and you could argue that they're the best team in Europe. They're solid defensively and attacking-wise, and they started the year 2026 in the most brilliant fashion with a win against Bournemouth. They also have the required hunger, personnel and management to get them over the line this time, so it looks almost impossible that they'll finish 2026 without a trophy. Now, the other Premier League record we predict will be broken this season is the one for most hat-tricks in Premier League history. And of course, there's only one man we think will break that record. It's none other than Erling Haaland. All he needs to do is score 5 Premier League hat-tricks in 2026 and the record will be his. If he scores 4, he will equal the record. Now, is it easy? Definitely not. But is it possible? For Haaland, it surely is. He has started the season really well, scoring an obscene number of goals already, but he has not started to cash in on his hat-tricks just yet, so he might be due to explode in 2026. Despite his impressive numbers so far this season, he still hasn't scored a hat-trick for Man City. He might just have been saving it all for 2026. So look out for that. Now, this next one is not something a lot of football fans would like to hear, but it's something we have to start to accept. Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, or even both, are likely to retire this year. Ronaldo turns 41 this year while Messi turns 39. They are no longer young men, so whether you choose to accept it or not, the truth is that the end is near. At the very least, there'll be an international retirement from one or both of them. They've hinted at it in the very recent past. Ronaldo has said that this will be his last World Cup, while Messi has not even confirmed if he'll be at the 2026 World Cup yet. In fact, when Messi played his last game in Argentina last season, he was in tears because it was very likely to have been his last competitive game in front of the Argentinian fans. Looking at all of this, it's best that every football fan just starts preparing their hearts for that big news because it'll very likely come this year. And you know what? This actually leads us to our next point. Remember we said earlier that there's a couple other World Cup predictions? Well, here is one of them. We're predicting a matchup between Messi and Ronaldo at the 2026 World Cup. Those two going head-to-head in the biggest competition in the world is something we've all been looking for years, but we haven't seen just yet. Well, this is the year when we finally get it. And this is another not-so-bold prediction, because if Portugal and Argentina finish top of their groups and get past the round of 32 and round of 16, they would meet in the quarter-finals. With Portugal having been drawn in a group with Colombia and Uzbekistan, and Argentina having been drawn with Algeria, Austria and Jordan, these nations topping their groups seems very likely. But well, the World Cup always springs up surprises, so anything can still happen. Regardless, we strongly believe that we will get that long-awaited Messi-Ronaldo matchup at the World Cup this year. Now, here's a pretty bold prediction. Pep Guardiola will leave Manchester City this year. It actually seems pretty poetic that he'll leave this year, 10 years after he joined. Already this is the longest he has ever stayed at one club, but we don't see him staying for much longer. There were rumours that he was going to leave last season, but we believe he didn't want to leave when the club was at its very worst, so he decided to stay a little longer and get them back to the top. Having now restored the club back to great form, he might now be looking to bow out gracefully. Also, the club had conversations with Enzo Maresca not so long ago about coaching Man City in the near future, which means that they probably know something already. In fact, that could even be why Enzo Maresca left Chelsea early in order to prepare himself for the big job. And speaking of coaches, we already saw Maresca lose his job on the first day of this year, but we're expecting a few more coaches of top clubs to lose their jobs this year. Ruben Amorim, Thomas Frank, Xabi Alonso, Arne Slot, Hansi Flick. Keep an eye on these coaches. It's very unlikely that they'll all end 2026 still in charge of their current clubs. Another thing almost certain to happen this year is Cristiano Ronaldo hitting 1,000 goals. He has said several times that he wants to be the first footballer to hit 1,000 goals and have it all on video, and we believe this is the year he'll do it. At this point, he needs less than 50 goals to hit 1,000, and hey, it's Cristiano Ronaldo we're talking about here. It's very possible that he'll get that number and even more this year. Seeing a player hit 1,000 official career goals would be an incredible achievement, not just for Cristiano Ronaldo himself, but for football as a whole, and we'll all be super excited to see it happen. Finally, we don't mean to be prophets of doom, but it just feels like something pretty unpleasant will happen at the World Cup this year, whether on the pitch or off it. For some time now, football fans have been complaining about the World Cup going to the US. Gianni Infantino seems to be making football a little too political, and that could have some blowback. Also, at the Club World Cup last year, there were so many things that didn't go well. Games were often suspended indefinitely because of thunderstorms and other unpleasant weather conditions. The pitches too are not the best for football, and of course the footballing culture over there is not the best. All these are just recipes for a pretty underwhelming tournament, but we're just hoping we're wrong about this one, because we would all love to watch an amazing World Cup this year. Now, do you agree with our list? Is there anything here you're sure won't happen? Are there more things you believe will happen in the year 2026? Get in the comments and talk to us. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye!